Okay guys, well I wanted to document this because this has been a nightmare. So let me show you what I did over here. Here's the brake pad. So what was going on? So I ended up breaking this pad completely off of the steel. Well, I need new brake pads. Now the reason why I was messing with it is I was trying to bend these tabs down a little bit and I hit the wrong thing and I just broke it. So what was going on is this part was sitting down here and it was rubbing on the wheel. You can actually see this line all the way around the hub, and it's like literally all the way around it. So this was rubbing on here and it was making quite a racket. So I was trying to fix that. All right. So once I broke it, I knew I needed a new set of pads. No big deal, right? Well, wrong. This is a conversion kit, disc brake conversion kit, and I didn't know what conversion kit Paul had bought. So I got to looking on it. The only thing I could find is right here in the end. I don't know if you can see that. It says MBM. So I got online and looked up MBM brakes and I found them. However, when I tried to contact them, they said you have to be a dealer to get any information or anything. Well, I didn't want to sign up to be a dealer because I have no interest in doing that. So I started looking around who sold MBM brake kits. I found a couple different places. So I called Classic Industries and they said, oh, well, you just go to your parts store and they have them. They're a common brake pad. So I went and checked around and told them what I had, and yeah, we couldn't find them at two different parts stores. Finally got a hold of Mancini Racing, talked to Darren. Darren got a hold of MBM and they gave him a part number, which is exactly what I needed. So then I knew what I needed to order. So as it turns out, the brakes that I need are what they use is Duralast, and the part number is MKD84. Great. So you get these at AutoZone. AutoZone didn't have them, so I went ahead and ordered me a set. In the meantime, I went back to Napa, who had given it a heck of a try, and he was able to cross-reference and came up with this part number, PF7017-M. Now he had came up with a PF7019-M, which turns out those are the other set of Dodge brakes for like 73 trucks and most other Dodge vehicles. So I don't know what kind of car these are actually off of, but anyway, they had them in stock, so I went ahead and put them on the car. Well, when I put them on the car, the thickness of the pad on the new pads were a lot thicker, and the brakes weren't sitting correctly on the brackets. So so I got to digging into it, and what I found was that this, I'll get you in here, is that here's the caliper. So what I found is that the caliper was hitting right here, was rubbing right here on the bracket. Let me go show you on the bracket where that is. So you can see where the rub marks were on that bracket, and what it was doing is, so the caliper was because of the thick pad on this side was being pushed that way, and it was pushing that caliper right into here, which was causing this whole thing to rock on here. So those calipers ride in these grooves so that they can slide back and forth, and it was sitting on here and it would just teeter-totter on that. So my solution is I'm pulling the brackets off and I'm going to grind this out and basically clearance the caliper on these metal brackets. Now, am I going to weaken this bracket? Well, yeah, anytime you're grinding metal off of a bracket, you're going to weaken it, but I don't think it's going to be weak enough where it's going to hurt anything. So I'll go ahead and do the grinding on that, and then I'll let you see it. I've already done it to the other side over here. I've already got the wheel back on it now, but that one is clearanced and ready to go. So I'll just get this side done, and we'll go from there. Oh, and what I'm using, the clearance set is just a die grinder with an abrasive. Actually, it's not abrasive. It's actually a steel, diamond, I don't know, cutting bit of some type. But it's pulling it right off. That's just soft material, so it comes off real easy. So, all right, I'll get that done and then have you take a look at it. All right, well, here's the finished product. I just took, so there was a seam right across here. Looks like a casting mark. You can kind of see it here. So I took that out of there and then just kind of tapered this off so that caliper will fit in there. I went ahead and dry fit it just to check it. Seems to be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together. When I get it back together, I'll get a little close up with the camera here and kind of show you where it was rubbing exactly, so you got a better idea. Okay, I got it back on here, and so what I'm talking about in the grooves is you can see that the caliper here fits down inside those grooves just like that, and it gets held in by a bracket up here. But what was happening is the caliper on this back side here, which I'll show you in a minute, was hitting the bracket, and this whole thing was just teeter-tottering back and forth here. And I could actually hear the brake, so I did test drive it and with them that way, and I could hear that clunking back and forth as I pressed on the brakes. The other issue I had is it was putting enough pressure because it was bind and wouldn't let the whole thing slide over. It wouldn't let this pad clear, and so it was rubbing on the disc, and it was causing it to get hot. So now I'm completely free here. So this is good. So there was that clearance I was telling you about. The caliper was hitting back in there and just preventing it from sliding over like it needed to do. All right, a couple other things that I got done here is, one, I changed the valve cover gaskets. The gaskets themselves were not that bad on here, but they were leaking. When you rev it up, oil would leak right out from under here. I put new gaskets on the valve covers, let them sit 24 hours, let that dry and harden so they wouldn't move around. I then put silicone on the other side, put them on there and tightened them up. I also added these, I don't know if you can see these, but I also added these hold downs in here to kind of spread out the pressure on these valve covers to get a little bit more pressure down here in the middle. And then I tightened them all up, let them sit another 24 hours so that silicone would dry, and I fired it up and it seems to be holding. So I think that's okay. Another item that I did here is the kick down. I just took and extended this bracket out about 2 inches here so that I could bolt it further back, so that when you go full throttle, it pushes this rod back and kicks the transmission down into a lower gear. I may have some adjustment to do on that, but that should help. All right, well, I think I got everything back together. Got the A-arms on, valve cover gaskets, all that stuff. You saw that. So I think I'm ready to take this thing for a test drive. So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, guys, well, I just had the alignment done on the Cornet, and unfortunately the left side still would not come into spec. It was a lot closer than it was, but still isn't there. They did go ahead and set both sides the best they could and set the toe in it, but we've still got a problem in that upper left. I think I see some signs of damage in there, so we may have a problem there. So I'm gonna have to investigate that more thoroughly, but not right now. I'm probably gonna do it in the winter. Right now it doesn't handle too bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and just drive it. All right, guys, well, we're gonna take it for a little test drive here. I got the windows down because it is really hot out here today, and the car doesn't have air conditioning, so I'm gonna roll the windows down and probably do some music and maybe speed it up a little bit here, but we're just gonna we're just gonna take it for a drive and see how it does. So even though the alignment didn't take 100%, it's not pulling left or right. It still goes down the road pretty straight. Pretty responsive to input, so I think it'll be okay. It's not driving bad at all. Yeah, it handles pretty good around that corner, so I think I'm just going to drive it this way for a while, see what happens. I know it's probably going to wear the front tires out, but that's okay. That's a sacrifice we'll have to do. Moves out good. Just for the fun of it. All right, well, I took a little drive out here in the country, and she's getting a little bit warm. I don't think it's got a big enough radiator. I kept my speed up as much as I could so that the air would be flowing through the radiator, and it was running about 200 degrees. I'll let you look at it, what it's doing now. It's actually creeping up there quite a bit. It was just holding just right about 200, but she's up there about 220 now. So I'm just going to sit here a minute and let it cool down, and then we will head back, and then I'll also show you the speedometer there. All right, I'm going to get going again here. It's still kind of warm, but I don't want to get home. Hopefully it'll cool down when I get moving with it again. Should also mention too that it is not boiling out or anything like that. It's holding the pressure. gonna have to get a bigger radiator in this thing. I don't like when it gets hot. 440s are notorious for trying to keep cool anyway, so I'm actually not surprised at all that it's running a little bit warm. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep going here and get it back to the house. Next step is going to be get it out there and give some people some rides in it. So even though my stepdad's been helping me on it, he still hasn't ridden in it. So we're gonna have to make that happen. So stay tuned. All right, well, finally, after all of that work, I was able to take the car for a good test drive out through the country there, and it got hot. Always something with these things. I'm not surprised that it happened, but I didn't expect it because I had taken it to give Paul a ride in it. However, that was March, and it was probably 40 degrees out. It wasn't very warm yet at all. And Paul and Michelle and Matt and Jamie also drove it in November, so it was really cold. If you remember, they actually got cold in the car. So I think that's why it was cool and okay then. The radiator just seems to be a little bit too small. There is it's got a 22-inch radiator right now, and they make a 26-inch radiator for it too. In fact, I did get the radiator ordered, and I actually do have it here. It's right here. So the new radiator is a 26-inch wide radiator. It's got the shroud on it plus 2 cooling fans. So I'll be able to kick those fans on and shut the engine off, and it'll continue to cool, so I can cool it down faster. And it's a bigger radiator. I think all it's going to take is just a little bit. It never did boil over or anything like that. So I think we're going to be fine. The alignment. So yes, we got the alignment done. Alignment, as I stated in the video, did not work. It was off a little bit. I noticed that there was a little bit of damage in the front end. I don't think it's very severe. I might be able to pull it back out, but I'll take a look at that this winter when I pull the engine out to do the heads. So that's it for everything that was on here for now. That was the stuff that I wanted to get done to make me more comfortable with the car while I give people rides in it. Some of this other stuff is stuff that I would like to do in the future, but it may be 2 or 3 years out. I don't know. Some of this we'll do this winter, but I'm gonna push the other stuff back, and I might change my mind and add things over time too. But for right now, I want to get it out there, and I want to give some rides in it. FABRATS built this car to give to a fan, and so I think it's fair and right and good that other fans should be able to take a look at it, take a ride in it, whatever too. So if you ever see it out there, feel free to flag me down and ask me to take a look at it. So no problem at all. So all right, well, I think that's gonna do it for now. Next video, I'm obviously gonna get that radiator in there so it's cool. It's been 100 degrees or better right now, so I gotta keep that thing cool. So that'll be the next video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.